While attempting to lay out the actual sequence of timing of the assassination, we face the need of lowering the limo speed near Z230 to about 2 to 3 miles per hour. This allows for the quality photos exhibited in Life magazine in their first publication of Z-frames. It also agrees with the witness testimony regarding the slowing of the limo at this time. Witnesses also reported the limo coming to an abrupt halt right after the fatal shot before it sped away. Here you see an effort to match the witness slowing and stopping to a graph of limo velocity in the kill zone. We know the position of the limo on the street from Don Ruberto's work. If the limo started at 11 miles per hour at the first shot, then the velocity would follow a smooth curve until the driver slammed on the brakes at about Z325. The average velocity in this kill zone would be the fixed velocity at which the differences in speed to the actual speed would average out to zero over the range of these speeds in the kill zone. That's at 4 miles an hour, or 6 feet a second, where there's equal shaded area above and below the line. At this average speed, it takes 150 divided by 6 feet per second, or 25 seconds to traverse the kill zone, 9 seconds to Z225, and 16 seconds on the next 75 feet. The shot timing is then shown versus time in the kill zone. The time between the firecracker sound and the neck and back shots is about 9 seconds. Connolly testified that he did not hear any shots hit him. So to the crowd, the 3 shots would be the firecrackers, the neck and back flurry on the president, and the fatal flurry. The Connolly shots would not be heard in the plaza this day. I show smaller amplitude shots for the firecracker and other old ammunition shots. The Smoky shot from the knoll would probably be in this group. Let's stand back for a moment and take a look and see what we have. We can see the setup. A safer route would have been the original route with connectivity to the Stemmons Freeway over a 3-inch curb on the far side of the underpass. With proof of an assassination attempt set up in Chicago a few weeks earlier, the Secret Service purposefully failed in the president's protection in Dallas on November 22, 1963. Rather than increase his protection, they put him on a slow route around Elm and pulled back his motorcycle escort and agents from the rear bumper stands, totally exposing him to fire from all angles, while allowing crowds on the overpass and open windows all around. With Officer Baker's time starting with the first shot and Oswald's time starting 25 seconds later, we hear of Oswald in the lunchroom without any nitrates on his face and without having left any prints on any weapon, and he's there in as little as 65 seconds after the last shot, after supposedly wiping down the 7.6 millimeter German Mauser, rushing it to the opposite end of the room from the far east side to the far west side wall, where he leaned it up against the wall, rushing back to the east window nest, wiping down the Mannlicher Carcano, hiding it between stacks against the east wall, then collecting and lining up the cartridges, 2 Mannlicher and 1 Mauser, that flew out of the rifles from opposing ends of the room, wiping off the nitrates from his cheek, and descending 4 flights of stairs, where Officer Baker sees him, breathing easy and having a Coke. We see a patsy.
Come on, man. No, they're taking me in because of the fact that I live in the Soviet Union. I'm just a patsy.
We saw the real killer, the Secret Service driver, Bill Greer, fire the fatal headshot, retrieve his weapon, show the perfect trajectory for that headshot. It even points toward the piece of the president's head Mrs. Kennedy retrieved. Then he hands the weapon to Kellerman, who stores it in the glove box. No one else could have caused the wound Kennedy received. Only the driver had the fatal trajectory. We have visual evidence that the Warren Commission purposefully ignored the massive testimony in support of a grassy knoll shooter. We discussed 2 conspiratorial alterations of the Zapruder film and referred to the Great Zapruder film hoax for many more alterations to evidence. We show JFK upright at the neck and back shots, invalidating any possible connection to his front neck wound for a shot from the book depository. We object to the conspiratorial commission action to try and make the back wound a back of the neck wound, and Congressman Ford's word change to this effect in the summary report. We showed the differences here. We see the Commission's commitment to lies and cover-up when they portray the President's head wound as high on the right side, when the actual wound is totally consistent with a driver's shot. Everyone has a crease at C6, C7 when they bend their heads backward. So JFK's wound is clearly below this at T3, and the Warren Commission lied. Proof of a crudely done body alteration with extraction of the brain after Parkland and before the autopsy. It still doesn't look like a shot from the rear. We showed David Lifton's book on the subject. We developed a working model of the actual shooting based upon bullet head observations, noting excellent alignment in both bearing and elevation with possible shooter positions, some witnessed, for 4 flurries of shots, 1 done with silencers. The rapid bang-bang heard in the final flurry could be the difference in timing between shot 12 and shot 13. This is the manhole cover shot, and here's the windshield shot.
Hole, but it was very clear. It was a through and through bullet hole through the windshield of the car from the front to the back.
Here's the windshield rim shot, and compared to the previous day with no bullet hole. The cover-up of the conspiracy was led by Lyndon Johnson and J. Edgar Hoover. Lyndon would steal Kennedy's body and the limo and retreat to Washington on the day of the assassination. The body would be altered to destroy evidence of a front shot, while the limo was altered to eliminate shot evidence. Hoover pushed for closure with his only suspect, Oswald. The military Secret Service intelligence participants did the body alteration and put an indefinite hush order on all participants not to talk. No government agency ever did a thorough investigation of the assassination with respect to all evidence and testimony. The Dallas police never even sealed the crime scene. They allowed traffic to resume almost immediately. Many of the pictures and movies taken in the plaza were never returned. Over time, physical evidence vanished from the National Archives and the police FBI custody. Many witnesses, it is believed, were silenced on purpose because they knew too much. A literal army of secret killers exists within the CIA to this day, with the biggest air force in the world, to deploy them anywhere in support of agency goals. The FBI and the Secret Service are much lower-level force structures and pale in the comparison. CIA had the lead in the Kennedy assassination, as so aptly signaled in this FBI memo, which was disclosed in recent years. G.H.W. Bush was personally debriefed on the Kennedy assassination the day after the murder on behalf of the director's office. G.H.W. Bush appears to have been in the plaza during the assassination. The CIA has made sure over these last 50 years that no force would uncover the full truth of the corporate takeover of America that was kicked into high gear with the assassination of John Kennedy. The various networks have sponsored numerous Oswald reenactments over the years with false information, always concluding the existence of no significant evidence of conspiracy. And surely there was no significant evidence of conspiracy considered by them, for it is a fact with huge amounts of proof and testimony, and I've only covered a small fraction of this conspiracy and proof.